We continue now at the top of Daf Ayin Dalet Amud Beis in Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 74b. On the previous Amud, Shmuel said that in order to matter a mavoi, the mavoi does not need to have multiple chatzeros and multiple houses. The Gemara had challenged Shmuel, and now the Gemara wants to know, did Shmuel retract his position? So the Gemara is now bringing a story with Avos bar Ihi, who matir'd a mavoi, such a mavoi in such a situation, and apparently was under Shmuel's direction, so apparently Shmuel did not retract. So the story here continues. Asa Rav Anan, then Rav Anan came after Shmuel died, Shadye, and he threw down the lechi. He said, "You're not allowed to matir such a mavoi. We don't hold like this." So Amar, so then Avos Bari said, "Mavoa de Dairna Be Vasina Mishmeidim Ar Shmuel." So the mavoi that I'm living in, and Shmuel, under Shmuel's direction, we matir'd it. Nesi Rav Anan Barav should come along, Nishti Yemin, and he should go ahead and he should throw the thing down. Rashi says, Nishti Yemin, Yashli Chenu Mimenu, he should throw it away from us. And Mishum Delo Havabel, a bias v'chotzer, Asr Aleh Karav. The case was exactly Shmuel's case, where it only had a bias and a chotzer, so he was following Rav's opinion, and he said, of course, you can't put a lechi over here, but apparently Shmuel maintained that you could put a lechi. So the Gemara says, Shma Mino Lo Kiplamine. We should learn from this story that Shmuel did not accept the refutation, and Shmuel allowed you to be matir such a mavui. So the Gemara says, Liola me malach. No, really, I'll tell you, Kiplamina. Really, Shmuel might have accepted Rav's position, and really he was strict. And the situation over here was a little different. V'hacha chaznahu to have a achel nahama bebeise v'asi bayis bevei kanishta. What happened was here there was a chazan of the shul who he would eat bread in his own house, but he slept in the Beis HaKnesses, and the Beis HaKnesses, because he slept in the Beis HaKnesses, which was a part of this mavui, that's actually what allowed them to matter the mavui. Avos Bari Savar. Now Avos Bari thought, we'll see all this in Rashi, Makom Pita Garim. He had assumed that the place where you eat is what really causes the need for making an Eruv or a Shituf. Shmuel Atayme, but Shmuel followed his opinion, Damar Makom Lina Garim, who says no, it's the place where the person sleeps. Rashi over here explains. You know why Shmuel allowed this mavui to chazna have a achel nama bebeise shahaya lo b'makam acher, because there was a chazan who would eat bread in his house that he had somewhere else, not part of the mavui. But he would go and he would reside, he would sleep in the shul, which opened into the mavui. And Rav Anan's problem was that now the chazan was no longer sleeping in the shul, so that's why Rav Anan said, now we're lacking the ability to matter this mavui, because we're lacking now one of these residents. It's no longer a place, the Beis HaKnesses is no longer a place where you live. So that was the real reason why Rav Anan was saying it was a problem. Everybody agreed you need to have more than one bias and one chotzer, but you had that at one point in time when the Chazan HaKnesses was sleeping in the shul. So what did Avos Bari he think? Didn't he realize that the Chazan had left? Avos Bari savar to Shmuel lav mishum chazna sharia. Avos Bari thought no, he didn't realize that the Chazan was allowing it. Why? Demakom pita gorm, because he thought no, it goes by where the person eats. The Chazan's not eating in the shul anyway. He can't be the reason. V'alo hava achel bebei kanishli, he's not eating in the Beis HaKnesses. So he didn't think that the Chazan was the reason. However, Shmuel atayme damar makom lina gorim. Shmuel did not hold like that. Shmuel was following his opinion that it goes by where you sleep. V'haveluhu shtei chatzeros, because the chazan was sleeping in the shul, it actually got counted as two chatzeros, not just one chatzer, and that's why it was permitted. And Shmuel, it's possible that Shmuel really was strict, like Rav's opinion. And the Gemara continues now by the two dots. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Mavoi shetzido echad Ovid Kochavim, v'tzido echad Yisrael. Let's say you have a Mavoi on one side is Ovid Kochavim, non-Jew, and the other side there's a Jew. So the halacha is Ein ma'arvin oso derech halonos lahatiro derech psachim lemavoi. We'll see what this means in Rashi, but translated it means you're not allowed to make an eruv through windows in order to allow you to enter into the mavoi. So Rashi over here explains. First of all, Tzido Echad Nachri v'Tzido Echad Yisrael Umavoi Beineim. The Mavoi is between the non-Jew and the Jew. Ein ma'arvin derech halonos lahatir derech psachim lemavoi means im yesh bate Yisrael etzel beiso shel Yisrael. Let's say there are houses of Jews that are next to the house of this Jew who's opened up into the mavoi. And those houses actually open up into Rosh Hashanah. They don't open up into the mavoi. And there are windows between them. The design you can see right here. You have a house of a Yisrael opening up to the Rosh Hashanah. There's a window to the next house of the Yisrael. Same here. Another house of Yisrael opening up to the Rosh Hashanah. The window to the next house. And here is the Chatzar Yisrael. And they want to be able to go through here and enter into the mavoi. So that's what they would like to do. So ein ma'arvin zem zeh. These Jews cannot make an eruv with each other. Derech chalonoseim, through their windows, lahotzi kleim lemavoi, in order to take their kalim to the mavoi derech pischo shalzeh, through the entrance of this guy who lives in the Chatzar Yisrael, shepasuach lemavoi, which is open into the mavoi. V'taim amefarish lekamei. We're going to explain the reason for this later on, but that is what the that is what the psak of Rav over here is. So Amar le Abaye le Rav Yosef. So Abaye said to Rav Yosef, when he heard this psak, he said, Amar Rav afilu b'chatzar. Does Rav say this halacha even by a chatzar? Meaning, is this a halacha that's particular to mavoi, or this would be true even if he had a similar design by a chatzar? Rashi says, Amar Rav afilu chatzar Yisrael v'nachri darnba. Let's say you have a Jew and a non-Jew living in a chatzar. Ubate Yisrael eitzel beiso shel Yisrael zeh psuchos l'rishos rabim v'lo b'chatzar. Same thing. You have houses of Jews that are open into the house of the Jew, but they open to Rishos Harabim. They don't open into the chatzar. She'aser la'arev derech halonos lotzi kleim derech beiso shel zel chatzar. Would he say the same thing? You can't make an erev through the windows in order that they can take their vessels through this guy's house into the chatzar. Lahachi nakar chalonos. Now, the reason why we're choosing windows over here, why are windows connecting these? Shein derech bnei adam lasos psachim gedolim mibayis labayis. It wasn't normal to make a real door go from one house to the other. In other words, when you would have a situation like this, they would usually have windows connecting the houses. They just, in general, would not have doors connecting. So in any case, the question that Abaye asked Rav Yosef was, is this halacha true even when it comes to a chatzar? So Amar le, he said back to him, yes, it's true. It's true by a chatzar as well. So he said, Di'i lo amar my have it. But he said, what if the answer would have been different? What if a chatzar would have been different? Why would that be true? Why should that be different? Rashi says, Di'i lo amar af bechatzar. Let's say he didn't say that it was true by a chatzar. Mai tezek adaitach delishtani chatzar mimavoi. In other words, Rav Yosef said to Abaye, why do you even think, why do you have a havamina that a chatzar should be different than a mavoi? Rav Yosef said to Abaye, of course a chatzar is the same restriction. Why would you think this is true only by a mavoi? So he answered back, Hava amina, taima derab, mishum dekasavar, ein mavoi niter belechi v'kora, ad shiu batim v'chatzeros psuchin l'socha. No, because you might have thought that the reason for Rav is it's following what we just quoted Rav earlier, that Rav holds in general when it comes to a mavoi, the only time you can be matter a mavoi with a lechi and a korah is if you have multiple houses, multiple chatzeros that are opening into it. Rashi over here explains, batim v'chatzeros psuchim l'socha v'hacha chader chatzerhu. Over here you really only have one chatzer opening up into the mavoi. The psichale that opens up there, the diras nachri lav shmadira, because the nachri's chatzar doesn't count. So now we'll see in a second, but Rashi going on the next line, v'chitei matarti lamali. Now, if that's what Rav meant, why would he need to make two statements that are saying the same thing? Ha'am Rav la'el and hamavi niter v'chulu. Didn't he already say that? But anyway, his point is, have amina time of the Rav mishum dekasavar ein mavoi niter b'lechi v'korad shiu batim v'chatzeros psuchim l'sochel. Maybe I might have thought the reason for Rav why you can't do that over here is because shitufei mavos won't work at all because you really only have one chatzar. That's the chatzar Yisrael. Chatzar of the guy doesn't count. So maybe that's the logic behind Rav's pshat. And as Rashi just explained, v'tarti lamali. Why would we need two statements that are essentially saying the same thing from Rav? Tzricha, it is needed. Di'imahi, because if we only had that one, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Ayin Hey Amud Aleph.